Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Eternal Darkness, or as I like to call it, Menus, the game, because I spend a ton of time in the menus. Fortunately for you guys, I either cut or fast forward most of those times, so you don't really have to deal with it as much. Although that could be a problem if you are trying to use this as a walkthrough. Normally I do try to show anything of consequence just in case somebody is doing that, although I maintain this is not a walkthrough. And I still get tripped up on the buttons. The B button, which I think of as the X button, pick that up. Comparing it to a PlayStation controller. You have to shift between that and the A button to pick things up and go through your menus, and it's kind of confusing sometimes the way they structure that. You would think one button would be to proceed and another one would be like a back button or something, but no, that's not how they do it. You need to use both buttons in different circumstances to proceed in those menus. Ew, that's pleasant. Fortunately, we've got a cure for that, the Dispel Magic spell, which is quite useful. It's only the weak 3-point version of the spell, but for now it's good enough for what we need. From my perspective, I've completed the game, so I'm used to how powerful we are going to get by the end.
Food today. I am your master. Your task is to guard the artifact before you. Let no one touch it.
Oh, I remember that room. That is going to be fun for us later. In Chapter 9, I believe.
In Europe, during the time of the Inquisition, paranoia and corruption ran deep. With the fear of devilry running rampant, the ancients' corruption extended far beyond mortal knowledge, corrupting all that could be corrupted. My researches uncovered an interesting incident. A Franciscan monk named Paul Luther was traveling through the region of Amiens during the witch hunts of the Inquisition. Now, under martial law, the Inquisition prevented anyone from leaving the town and its nearby cathedral, for everyone was suspect.
Welcome to Oubliette Cathedral, Brother Luther. I'm glad that our sacred order can bestow hospitality on our Franciscan brethren.
I shall not impose, Excellency. I merely request lodging and a viewing of the sacred relic, the Hand of Jude.
Many have traveled far and even risked their lives for a glimpse of the hallowed relic's true splendor. Of course, it would be wise to keep quiet during your stay. The Inquisition is here for a reason, brother. We seek to purge the deviancy from this town.
I am sure that will not be a problem. Amiens appears to be a peaceful hamlet.
It appears to be, but deviancy is secreted in the most deceptive places, which I believe is the case with Amiens.
Then I wish you luck in your search.
The Inquisition does not need luck, Brother Luther. Faith and purity are our guides.
that voice of this guy Luther is pretty familiar to me. He voiced Campbell in Metal Gear Solid. He also voiced the Sensei in Tenchu 2, The Birth of the Stealth Assassins.
For the love of God! God! Help! Come quickly!
A murder! A murder most foul! What heresy is this?
I found him lying here, dead. I called the guards.
Is this our first suspect? Make sure no one touches the body. It must be examined for signs of devilry. As for this man, make sure he doesn't leave the cathedral. We will question him later.
But...
Hold your tongue, Franciscan, or it might bring my wrath upon thee. Who is to say that you did not commit this murder? If you trust in the Almighty, and you are indeed innocent, then you will have nothing to fear.
The thing about the Almighty is he does allow for free will, which means people can be assholes as much as they want to be. So that's probably going to be a problem for our boy Luther. Plus the devilry. We cannot forget the devilry. However, there is jewelry, so let's take that.
Are you here to pass sentence on me?
No, I'm here to free you. You are in incredible danger. This cathedral used to be a place of peace. Now many strange things happen here. I don't want you to end up like the others.
What do you mean?
The body you found was Brother Andrew, and he was killed to protect a secret. We can't talk about it here. Find me in the bell tower later, and I shall aid thee further.
Why are you releasing me?
I don't want to see another innocent die like your Franciscan brethren. I have seen Brother Andrew make numerous entries into his journal. This may contain the answers to the cathedral's dark secrets.
What can I do?
If I were you, I'd run.
They will surely hunt me if I run. This has to stop.
Then be it on your own head, Luther. Find Brother Andrew's journals if you can. He spent time in the old tower investigating. I believe I can find the key to the old tower in one of my stores. Later, come find me in the bell tower, and I will give it to you. Be swift. We can't evade them forever.
So this is kind of interesting. One of the more interesting setups for these plot lines that we get. And of course the world gets all wibbly because we have to go pick up the Tome of Eternal Darkness once again. Oh, listen to those screams. But I like the whole conspiracy in the church angle. That's happened a lot in fiction, but usually the people running the church are all portrayed as assholes. At least in this situation, some of them are portrayed as being decent people. I really like the atmosphere in this chapter. It has a little bit of a Resident Evil 1 vibe. You got the big fancy building, the rain outside. Although the rain is more prominent in this than it was in Resident Evil. Huzzah, items. We definitely want to pick up as many of those as we can. I'm not sure what this is. I can't remember if I started showing these already, but I am going to start showing a lot more text throughout the rest of the playthrough. Although there's at least one that I miss later on in the game. I can't remember where that was. Probably a few more, but I highly doubt anybody's pausing to read any of these texts. But I do want to show them off anyways. And scrolling them is a bit wonky. Something else kind of funny. I was complaining about how my GameCube controller isn't working right. I think I missed out on giving this game some credit. Every time I would go through a door, my character would be facing the door that they just came through. And I'm thinking that the devs animated the character actually shutting the door, rather than just going through the door and automatically being facing where they need to go. Which is kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, we are going to get a crossbow in a little bit. So we need all the bolts we can get for that thing. Actually, we're not going to use it that much, I don't think. You will probably notice that the further along we go in this playthrough, the less I will be fighting enemies. Took a bit of a wrong turn there. I'm looking for this. This area is really dark, so anything that we can do to make it easier to see is always a blessing. And especially in a church, you want blessings, don't you? I have a comment I really want to make to follow that up that I'm not going to make. But hey, we got a crossbow. That's a blessing, right? Well, it will be if we run into a situation where we need to use it. I always expect to find crossbows in churches. How else are they going to cast down the unbelievers? We found that key, and that helps us pick this up. We do have to go on a bit of a scavenger hunt, picking up evidence of conspiracies and devilry. Let's not forget the devilry. I actually quite like that word. I'm sure it's already the name of a metal band, but if I were in one, that's the name I would go with. That or Eternal Darkness, one of the two. So, besides the darkness, everything is still pretty lighthearted for now. I believe until we go through this door. Yep. Our first enemy encounter of the chapter. I don't remember any enemies that we haven't already seen. I think everything that we're dealing with are enemies we've already had to deal with. Ring that bell and we can move on.
Ah, Brother Luther, not a moment too soon. As you have noticed, dread things inhabit this place. Shambling corpses, and worse.
There is darkness at work here, in the midst of the Inquisition.
I suspect it is worse than that, but I have no proof. Brother Andrew knew this also, and paid the price for it.
Why are you telling me this?
Perhaps you can finish off what Andrew started. Take this key. It unlocks the old tower. It has been sealed off since the Inquisition arrived.
I intend to uncover the truth behind this.
If you manage to uncover the source of darkness, return here, and I will do everything I can to help. Till then, brother, may your faith protect you.
You've got to have faith of the heart. Sadly, I don't know any more words to that song, or I would keep going. Those familiar with Star Trek Enterprise will know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't know, then trust me, that's a good thing. It is a terrible song. I want to say worst opening theme to a Star Trek series. However, there have been new series under the Star Trek name over the last few years, which we don't talk about on this channel. Unless we're making fun of them. Speaking of which, so I saw this rant video on the trailer for Discovery's 4th season. Get ready for combat going through here. I'm pretty sure there's a bone thief in here. I completed the game yesterday, so the rest of this game is going to be kind of a jumble. I'm not really going to remember all the specifics to what's going on. But I did enchant my sword, and I should be putting a shield around me. Yep, bone thief. Probably other assholes as well. Come here and take your medicine. You get. These things are really creepy. They basically possess people and take their bones. At least with what they do, that's one of the creepier enemies I've seen in a game. That's what you get. You jerk. No more bone thieving for you. Pick that up. That's a part to a spell that we're gonna get, I believe. That sounds unpleasant. So what I want to do is create one of those force field things. It didn't help me out as much as I was hoping it would, but it was useful nonetheless. It's weird to me since I've already completed the game. I'm used to being much more overpowered than we are at this point. And I wanted to finish this thing off to keep it from coming back, but as what happens a lot in this game, I'm trying to finish off an enemy, but he goes through the door instead because it's the same button to do both actions. Quite annoying. Oh right, this guy can meditate to regain some of his sanity, so you don't have to waste magic to regain your sanity, which is pretty cool. I guess it wasn't that long ago that I played this, but I've gone pretty quickly through the second half of this game. I completed the game yesterday and I played, I think, 3 or 4 chapters yesterday. I think 3, actually. Oh, right. So, this is a really cool strat. I did not come up with this. So, up ahead is going to be a bone thief. I could not get this to work again, unfortunately. But, this one time, it worked out nicely. So we can spawn a trapper. And I have a lot of trouble seeing this thing, just like the last time we did this. At this point I can actually see where it is, but for the most part I was having trouble. Come over here. Hey, Bone Thief. It's time for you to have a change of location. That's right. We just sent that Bone Thief to Hell Dimension. Or at least that dimension with all the bright colors and everything.
Help me, Grandpa. I can't take this anymore.
Don't be so weak, Alex. You have a stronger mind than this. I didn't bring up a weakling. Not a scared wretch of a girl.
You kept all this from me. You kept me alone. You shared nothing with me.
I couldn't. I could never give you the burden. I just wanted you to grow up. To grow up and leave me alone. Why couldn't you have been killed with your parents?
This isn't really happening.
So I'm guessing, and I think we're about to see me use that meditation. Yeah, it looks like we're going to do that now. Quite cool. I'm guessing that we're experiencing these moments in the game while Alex is reading about them. As she reads about these stories, she gains the abilities that we gain throughout these chapters. But it's interesting because at the start of the game, she was having a dream where we saw that spirit of her grandfather. Now, whether or not that's actually her grandfather or somebody pretending to be him is another story. But we got what we needed in here, so it's time to leave. And it's interesting if this guy is seeing those scenes, because it would suggest that him and Alex and maybe all of these characters that we play as are connected. And it's also interesting that we play as Pius at the start of this game. He's the bad guy that we see all the time. Oh, I remember this. This was really annoying because I can't see the letters on the GameCube controller, so it took me forever to figure out what button is what. Although I'm sure I could have pulled up a diagram on Google, but I didn't do that. So this is cool. I think I mentioned earlier how weak we are. We're about to get a little stronger. As long as I don't get too stuck on the environment, which happens a lot. If you haven't noticed, we are going to be visiting and revisiting the areas that we've already seen. The mansion, this cathedral, that area with the traps, although I think we're mostly done with that at this point. I feel like there might have been one more area that I'm forgetting. Yeah, there is. It's a temple of some sort. We will be back there as well. This is a nice upgrade for our spells. As opposed to the 3-point spells we have been using, this will give us 5 points. So spells in this game have 3, 5, and 7 points. 7 point being the strongest spell, but taking the longest to activate, so it's harder to use in battle. As you've also noticed, I have cut my inventory trips when I change weapons. With all these trappers in here, I want to use these crossbow bolts on them. Because I don't feel like going to the trapper dimension. It took me a while to find this thing. Once you find it, just activate that. And we get a secret passage. Huzzah. And there's going to be a big dude in here, so we want to be careful. These big dudes are called horrors. They are not the most fun things in the world to fight. Okay if you have an enhanced shotgun, but otherwise they are a pain in the ass. This one looks like a blue one, so you probably want to enhance your weapon with green, actually. Something else interesting about this game, if you see enemies from 2 different god types, they will fight each other. I don't know if we see that throughout this playthrough. but apparently that's a thing. There should be a little bit of a puzzle here. Mainly just an item placement. So I guess we got the heart of Mantarok last video. Fortunately, you don't have to pick where these go. Although that could have made for at least a slightly fun puzzle. I do appreciate when the game does that for you. And of course they're color-coded for the gods. Oh boy, more of you guys. Die. But I think that would be interesting to know if these people are all connected. I think they kind of are, but I don't want to get too into that. I don't know the whole story of this game. I think there's a lot of backstory that they don't tell you in-game. You have to read the manual, and my copy of this game did not come with a manual, so I couldn't do that. And here's where I play a little more with that barrier spell, and it's quite helpful here. Some enemies can still get around it, but it's still useful in keeping some enemies off of you when there are a bunch in a room. Because your weapons can go through it. Theirs can't. I don't know about magic attacks, though. They might be able to. Dude, did you not see what I did to your friend? Well, now you suffered the same fate as they did. You get. And here I believe I played with some spells. Oh, this is the annoying aspect of the 5-point spell. So, I don't think I showed me creating a spell before. Every spell you get, you automatically get the 3-point. But you have to go in and create the 5-point spell. That's the mid-level spell. I was talking about the spells earlier. And then once we get the 7 points, you have to go in and create each of these 7-point spells as well. It's pretty tedious. I wish the game would automatically do that for you. And I did the rest of my spells off screen. I just wanted to show one of those. I will show 1 or 2 of these 7-point spells once we get there. That'll be much later in the game, though. It seems like he has a bit of a burning sensation. Oh, God. More of these guys. I do like the shield spell, so get used to these characters having those orbs floating around them, because that's going to be a thing. Damn it, you stupid monster, just die! Anyway, so I was talking about modern Star Trek earlier, so I saw this video of this guy. I like his content, actually, and he was ripping on the trailer for the 4th season of Discovery. And I agree with a lot of the points that he made, but my issue was, and why I posted a comment on his video, the show's going into its 4th season. If you don't like it at this point, why are you still watching it? And I know people like him are probably doing it for views and likes and all that, which probably gets them money in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how that all works. Yeah, the Torch wasn't doing it against these people. So the comment, I basically said that if you don't like something, then the best way to deal with that is indifference. That production companies, that's what they hate the most, is no one paying attention to their product. Because if a lot of people are hating it, then people will probably still tune in just to hate watch it. But if you ignore it, then there's a better chance that it will get canceled. And the funny thing is, I got a weird response from somebody, not the person that made the video. This person argued my point, basically saying that no one watches these shows. And in the same comment followed that up by saying that the network that's making these shows doesn't care about profit. They're only interested in promoting a political agenda. Now, if you can follow that logic, one, a network is a business. Their job is to make money. Two, earlier in that guy's response, guy said no one watches the shows. If no one watches the shows, then this company could not promote their political agenda if what that guy was saying was accurate. I'm not saying he is accurate, I'm just saying if for some reason he was, then saying that no one watches that show really kind of ruins his argument about promoting a political agenda. More reading if you want to do that. And I get not liking those shows. I don't care for them either, but if you're going to make an argument to why they're bad, at least have a good one. Talk about how they get the characters wrong, how they don't develop their new characters, how there are massive plot holes in the story that they are trying to tell. There are a lot of things that you can criticize, really most modern shows with. I have a lot of issues with modern shows where it just feels like everything is poorly written. But we're not really here to go into that. I just thought that was a pretty funny response where the person kind of contradicted himself in the same comment. I never did hear from the person that made that video. I'm guessing he didn't read that comment. But then I'm also guessing that he made that video for the people that are going to hate view. They're going to click on that because they hate the new shows. I'm telling you, just vote with your wallet. If you don't like something, don't give it money. And don't give it any sort of attention. I remember this section, so there's a lot of back and forth going on. So we went all the way down there, now we're going all the way back up to the bell tower. I didn't fast forward this just because they put a different camera angle in this room, and I kind of like it. And then we get to go all the way back down. So there are some parts of this chapter I really like. I like the atmosphere. I like the whole religious conspiracy, but then you have stuff like this.
Brother Andrew suspected Augustine all along. I managed to find remnants of his journal, and it all points to Augustine's involvement with a paganistic cult operating inside the cathedral.
Aye, the cathedral's dark secret has been uncovered. I too suspected this, but was too afraid to act. Augustine himself is a heretic.
He has covered his tracks well, claiming that the sacred relic, the Hand of Jude, was stored here. He had those who came to see it murdered. The Hand of Jude never existed.
And with that realization, the trap closes, brother. My days here are numbered. I awoke to find this cruel dagger placed upon my pillow this morn. It can only mean one thing. I know too much, and they are moving to silence me. I can only hope that what little faith I have left is enough to save my soul. Please, take this thing away from me. Its very sight troubles me to no end. May your faith protect thee, Brother Luther. Oh, that's all you have.
Well, I'm not sure how much that's going to help us going forward. But this dagger is going to be a key item we are going to need. So now we have to go all the way back down, which I'm not looking forward to. Although I guess I can't complain too much considering I've already played this. I probably should have fast forwarded some of this. Be on the lookout because there can be enemies in here. Yep, there's one. Going through as much of this game as I did, it's hard to remember what comes up where. Yeah, I'm not messing with you. I think that's one of the first moments where I realized you can skip a lot of the enemies in this game. I think I said this before, but the further along we go in this LP, expect me to start skipping by enemies more and more. Or cheaping them up. We actually have access to a spell right now that will allow you to basically be invisible. I was not aware of that yet. I don't think it's until video 9 that I figured that out. And we will be back in this cathedral during that video. But it's a very useful spell. So you'll have to get used to me using that quite a bit in the last few videos. That's right, there are trappers in here, so be careful. They're not really deadly or anything, they're just annoying. Because then you have to go through that whole trapper minigame. And at this point I've already gone back and forth, and I'm just trying to get done with the chapter. More stuff I could have fast forwarded. So how y'all been? I hope everything is good in your world. It's nice to be posting videos again. Video 1 of this just went up today. So that's fun. I don't know why I'm wasting my time fighting this thing. I could probably just move on. Unless I need to do something in this room, which I think I do. Right, I was probably worried I'd have trouble finding this, so that's why I took him out. And I believe we used that dagger here. Sounds painful! Like the morning after going out drinking too much. I know what that's like all too well. So we need to use our 5-point Dispel Magic spell here. Pretty much you can imagine going forward, if you have to use Dispel Magic or Reveal Invisible, you're probably going to have to use the strongest version of it you have. So if you haven't upgraded it at this point, since you now have that 5-point spell option, then you'll have to go and do that. This is very important. I'm going to set up a force field and also put another shield spell on me, and I believe I enchant my weapon as well. In this playthrough, I would probably be safe going with red since we're facing mostly green enemies. But purple beats all of them, so it doesn't really matter. And since we have the Mantarok rune, then we're all good.
You are a clever man, Brother Luther.
Wanting answers to clarify your new position as fugitive, you seek them out, and this is what you find. Tell me, what does a man such as yourself think of when he finds a viper's nest of heresy? When he finds the very source of corruption?
I think of irony. Irony of what you, masquerading as a member of the Inquisition, stand for. And that you stand for evil.
Evil is merely a perspective which no longer concerns me, Luther. You will be executed in the most painful manner imaginable. After we have broken your frail body and mind in the name of our true Lord, Xenothoth. Come, my children, feast on this morsel, and let us return to our preparations.
Don't forget the devilry! This is why you want the force field put up, because we're going to be accosted by some bone thieves. And this can prevent them from jumping your bones. Makes that fight a lot easier to deal with. Again, not my strat. But a good one nonetheless. I don't get that. He said you're going to die the most painful way possible, which, admittedly, getting killed by a bone thief would be painful. But he talks about breaking his mind and body first, like he had other plans for this dude. And then he sent a bunch of bone thieves to kill him. Doesn't make much sense. It's always funny to me in stories when the villain is constantly trying to kill the hero throughout the story, and then for some reason there's a plot twist at the end where the villain was manipulating the hero all along and they needed the hero in order to accomplish their plans. In that situation, if the hero dies, then the villain fails. So I'm not sure why those villains keep trying to kill the hero in those stories.
Your task, my liege and greater guardian, is to guard this place. Do not worry about this world. His kind yelps in terror at the sight of your mightiness. We will dispose of him ourselves.
If I am to guard this place, then I will do it as I see fit. Be gone, leave me, and I will guard this artifact as you have instructed.
Don't worry, Luther, old bean. I promise we will avenge you at some point. We will be back in that room again, and it's not going to be pleasant. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time with more Eternal Darkness.